Good evening. Welcome to Jonathan Shatke for President 2020, the weekly rant. It's now March 22nd. I got some scotch here. A little bit of a bronchitis cough. Actually, went to the clinic today because it's been going on for a month. All right. What have we got going on? Well, coronavirus continues to lead the news. Thousands of cases in the U.S. Hundreds of people dead. 500, nearly 500 people have died in America. 178 have recovered. That's really bad odds. Part of the problem is that it got into the nursing home population, and that's the coronavirus's most deadly group. They're people who are compromised for multiple reasons. Italy has seen hundreds dead and tens of thousands in hospitals. China claims that they've got it under control and things are coming back, but it's China. You can't trust anything. I mean, this is a place that put up a bunch of cities that are completely empty. How can you do anything? You can't tell anything out there. It's a lot of hype. In the same time, this flu season has killed, a couple 100,000 people. People are panicking and being stupid, really stupid. It's crazy. I went to Sam's Club and couldn't even find ground beef. It's not like they don't have cows to slaughter, and they're going to slaughter enough to feed everybody. It's no problem. That's the difference between a capitalist market and a socialist command economy. And anybody who thinks that we're going to handle coronavirus worse than these socialist countries is confused. When hospitals fill up, they will expand temporarily. They'll go out and buy a bunch of modular two-bedroom trailers and put 4 people in it, and buy ones where they've got the doors all on the front, and literally slap them side to side in the parking lot, and have the nurses go from one to the next, making sure that the patients are taken care of, housed, clothed, get their pills on the time and everything. They'll take care of everybody, and there's no doubt about that. And they might need to get permission to do that from the feds in order to override any stupid rules the locals have, which is pretty common for the locals to have. And they'll literally put out every mobile home in the country before there's a problem, and there won't be a need for that. The panic at this point is causing much more trouble than the actual virus, by a long shot. The stock market continues to drop. It's dropped and lost everything that they've gained since 2017. The Monday after it started dropping, I said to my wife, "Move your stuff out of the 401k stock," and she didn't. She's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know where it is. I don't know how to control it." You know the company. Call the company. They know you. Give them your name, your your social security number. They'll handle it. They want to help their customers. $20,000 in a 401k. It's going to be five by the time this is over. But then it's going to bounce back because the root of this problem is people not being at work, is people not going out and doing stuff, and that's going to change. There's no reason for that to stay after things are gone. But this flag behind me stays at half mast. I'm in mourning for this country. This country is seeing a horrible time here, and not because of the virus, but because of the government response to it. Because freedoms are being curtailed needlessly for silliness. If a flu had killed another 500 people, nobody would care. And coronavirus is just a strain of the flu. Every year, coronavirus is 9, 10, 15% of the flu. It depends on year to year. But so, COVID-19, I have heard a number of different conspiracies, and I don't give them much credence. Was it specifically built? That's almost certain. You don't get AIDS into a flu germ without a lot of work, unless it's, because if somebody had active AIDS, right, and they caught the flu, that, which would be what would have had to happen for it to have happened naturally. Somebody with active AIDS would have had to have caught the flu, and the two viruses would have had to exchange, been in the same cell, right, and moved this and that to get the genes around. Well, that person would have died from that flu. And when somebody is dying of AIDS, of a communicable, of AIDS, people, the protocol is to put them in an isolation chamber and keep that chamber disinfected and so that they don't get additional infections. You're trying to save their life. So I don't put much credence in that scenario. It's much more likely that some researchers did the recombination and came up with a strain that added this improvement in virulence. The other thing is you're getting a lot of celebrities and politicians saying they're coming down with it. They've come down with it. Now, this could be one of two things. This could be those celebrities and politicians really do have it, or they're being given a way to explain their death and their removal from public life to the masses that allows them to save face. Tom Hanks is one example, and Tom Hanks is one of the actors accused by Corey. What was his name? One of the child actors from the 90s. Of being at the parties diddling kids. it was, I'm just reporting what's been said. But Rand Paul, a number of other people, big names, big names. There are hundreds of thousands of sealed indictments. What better way to to give a method of collecting those people up for trial than to have nationwide quarantines? And so it's possible that there's something else going on. This flu does not warrant the response if the numbers are right. Now, if the multiple millions dead in China figures are right, and 750 million contracted it, and things like that, then the Chinese response is actually not enough. So, what numbers can we believe? We can't believe 80,000 um, and 3,000 dead. That's bull. Bull. The 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 actions by the Chinese Communist Party, the trillions of dollars, is um, is, is is not believable. The Fed has started QE4. They don't call it that, but they're pumping money into the markets. They're pumping the money into the banks. Um, Trump asked for helicopter money to the people, $1,000 a month or something, or $2,000 a family, or whatever. Um, would I take it? Well, sure. It's free money. Everybody's going to get it. It's going to, it's just inflation. Um, it, free money without attached production, money in the economy without attached production, warranting it, is useless. It just raises the prices. What is the real economy is not dollars, but things. Cars produced, cars sold, um, food, utilities, houses. These are real things. These things that are tangible. They make life better for people. Televisions, computers, cell phones. These are tangible things that make life better for people. Accounting is just how we tally up who gets credit for it. And if you suddenly give people a bunch of credit for doing stuff they never did, you don't make that stuff they never did, that those tangible things suddenly happen. That's not how it works. You're you can't make reality different by changing the score on the score sheet. The guy either made it to home base or he didn't. If he didn't, you don't put a score on the scoreboard. Now you can steal from one person or have one person give something they made, that they give something or some uh, recompense that they got to someone else. But unless if you just print up additional numbers and send them out, it doesn't do anything. You don't make additional rolls of toilet paper appear in the stores just by writing a check. you have to go and cut down the trees and pulp them and run the paper mill and soak those fibers and lay them out in a sheet and cut the sheet to shape and roll it onto the rolls and package it and send it off on a truck. That's all a bunch of steps of things that have to happen, and those trees don't just grow because you throw money at them. So it's a short-sighted policy, but the Fed is short-sighted. I think if I was trying to destroy confidence in the Fed, I would convince them to fund this. I would convince them to do the things that the government is doing. Tax day has been pushed off a couple months, and payroll taxes aren't being collected, which means that anybody still working is got a 7% paycheck raise, and every company got a 7% bonus. So anyway, keep frosty. Don't be afraid. The world is not ending. This is only the beginning of woes. Even the stock market crashing needed to happen. It was a huge, big bubble spurred on by zero interest rates, and it's going to end. Do what you can. Take care of yourself and your families. And we'll see you on the other side, because you're probably not going to suffer. Peace and joy.